2016, Ashutosh moved to Singapore to build LinkedIn online sales organization for Asia Pacific and China. And now he's heading the LinkedIn India-wide operations. And in this fireside chat, he would be sharing tips and advices from his journey on how to build a career where you can really feel fulfilled, valued, utilized, and really empowered. So I've taken the best seats, Ashutosh, and I feel the same for all the folks out here. We are all here. So why not we start with a quick introduction from your own perspective, which you'd like to share with, and then let's start this journey together.
Yeah, thank you, Ayush. Thank you for those kind words. And good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Though I wish we were doing it in person event, but such are the times, right? So good to be here. Hope wherever you are joining from, all of you are doing well, your friends, family, all in a good place from a health perspective. Uh, I think as Ayush has kind of told the broad highlights of the career, I think very, very grateful for the opportunities I've got in the last 20 years to work with great companies, to experience great companies' culture. And then in some companies, I got a chance to build business, right? So, and all of you at the Startup Grind event, I'm sure you are thinking about building new companies, starting new organizations. And there's no energy. I'm sure that's the most energy people get from when they build something, right? And very similar for me, I built something in large companies, so I'm not a startup guy, but within the large companies I've always incubated, started businesses. So as Ayush was saying, that in 2016 I went to Singapore and we started a business, online sales business in LinkedIn, which is part of the LinkedIn marketing solutions. It was a ground up effort. There was nothing before, and I started in 2016, and it's been just most fascinating experience. I did this across APAC, so learning new cultures of the countries, how people work in those countries, how can we bring them together, and forming one team. How do you build teams culture, which I'm sure all of you, as you are thinking about your own startups or already building your startups, maybe at some point today we can talk a little about how do you build culture, how do you build a culture which helps you get to the goals, right? So very, very excited to be here. I'll talk a lot about LinkedIn. Obviously, I'm from LinkedIn, how to leverage LinkedIn best. We'll talk about trends in the market, right? So let's make most of it. And I think there's a chat function. So in the middle, whenever I get a chance, I'll peek into chat. So share more of what you want to listen, ask questions, right? So let's make it interactive. So
Yes, people.
Ayush, back to you.
Sure. So I was just adding to people that the way we do startup grand chats is that we really want that you, as an audience, is really able to make the most out of it. So feel free to keep putting your questions. The chat is totally open, and then I'll keep picking questions from there as much as possible. I'll try my best to cover, in fact, all the questions, but at least keep putting, and I'll make sure that your question gets answered. So let's start, Ashutosh, probably starting with, uh, the trends that you basically see, because I feel that at LinkedIn, you are at the center of the whole jobs and careers and connections and, what lot is going on. So, Ashutosh, what you feel really are the current trends that are, creating these trends of the workspace and the workforce that you foresee now and, the vision of your the future that you see or you have realized.
Sure. Happy to talk about it. The pandemic has spurred the birth of new ways of working, with people around the world reevaluating how they work, and most importantly, why they work today, right? I don't think so any one of us, at least me personally, when I was young, I would definitely think about where I want to work, but I would never think about why I want to work, right? And that question people are asking more and more these days, right? The purpose, right? And a lot of people have reevaluated their priorities, and they're thinking about, is this the right place I want to work? Is the work I'm doing today adding up to my own values and strengths, right? So there's a whole bit of thinking and reevaluation happening in people's mind about why to work, right? Um, Also, all of this is leading to what we call as the great reshuffle, where professionals are reimagining their priorities, to lead more fulfilling lives and careers, and in process of that they are leaving one job and moving to another, right? And that flux in the market, that churn in the market, we are calling as great reshuffle. But what it has done is really, and for all of you, it's going to be very exciting news that this has put talent in the driver's seat. In this tight labor market, if you can be in a driver's seat, it's an amazing power. It's an amazing place of strength. So a lot of switches happening between industries, switches happening between the roles, and people are able to demand, what they want, right? And companies and recruiters are happily listening, as well as they are fulfilling those demands. From data perspective, what we have seen is that there's a noticeable shift towards entrepreneurship since 2020, which is great news for Indian startup ecosystem, right? Indian startup ecosystem was pretty vibrant even before 2020, but literally it got a shot in arm since 2020 in the pandemic, right? So, for example, from January to December 2020, we saw a 10% increase in the number of founders, co-founders in India. And for people who don't know LinkedIn very well, and I hope there are not many of those people today in this chat. If you don't, do contact me and we will definitely help you understand LinkedIn. The way we get this data is when people on their profiles change their own designation or what they are doing in the titles, right? That's how we get this data, right? So we have seen a lot of changes on the titles. 81% are changing their, oh, sorry, 10% are changing the number of to founders, co-founders. Even change, like there's a lot of change in workplace policies as well. Companies are rethinking, right? And one of the reasons why they're rethinking is all talent wants flexibility in the workforce. I don't know how many of you will want to build a startup where you say you have to come office every day from 8 to 5. Don't do that, huh? It's not going to work. So what we are seeing clearly is that flexibility is the demand. i'll I'll work very hard, but I'll work kind of on my terms. I'll work from where I am, right? You can't specify you work from this spot which I have fixed for you, right? So flexibility is very much required. Hybrid work is gonna be absolutely critical. 86% of our members are saying hybrid work is the future, right? So that's gonna stay. When I say hybrid, it means some in office, some are working remotely, and that's a hybrid workforce. And lastly, which is very good for India, I think all of us work very hard, and in that working hard, we somewhere forget work-life balance, right? Now, Indian workforce is telling us in our surveys that work-life balance is just as important as their salary, which is fascinating, which is amazing. Having lived in other countries, I've lived in States, I've lived in Singapore. I think every country has their own culture, but the amount of focus we put on money and promotions and all of those things. Don't get me wrong, I love them, not at the expense of work-life balance, not at the expense of my own family. Right now, this pandemic, when I was talking about readjusting the priorities, people have readjusted the priorities. So big news from trend perspective is that people are rethinking their priorities. Companies are building flexibility into their work policies. People are putting more weightage to work life balance. And what it means to you as you're building these companies, keep these trends in mind. This is an important data, because remember, success of any company, including startups, it's just not the product, it's just not the customers. The most important thing is your talent. Those are the people who will take what your vision is forward and bring customers, bring more people into your fold, right? So I think these are important things to do that talent. And if you want to hire the best talent in the market, you have to build it in as part of your organizational DNA.
Right. Very well said. So, Ashutosh, I think you've touched upon pretty much all the different themes that we'll continue exploring more and more deeper. Like the first thing that comes to my mind, right from this question, hopping on to how are young professionals you see are responding to these new trends? Like you already talked about it, but probably we can elaborate more about what are the trends. Like one is, say, entrepreneurship that you just
Hmm.
mentioned, and that's a very very big thing. I think 10% is like a huge number, which I think can get a lot of impact. So
Absolutely.
tell us more. I think this is very interesting to learn about, like how are young professionals, taking up this.
Yeah, young professionals. Before this, Ayush and I and Rishita, we were talking, and I was telling them, "This is a great time to be young." I wish I was young to be qualified as a young professional. I was staring at a long career. I had the flexibility to make those choices. Don't get me wrong, I still do, but there are some constraints where as you go up in the career, as you have more family responsibilities. But coming back to young professionals, it's a great time. It's a great time to be young. I think. There's so many opportunities out there in the market. The startup ecosystem is vibrant, and there are so many different ideas floating around, right? So, first message is, if anybody feels like, oh my God, pandemic, oh my God, tight labor market, please don't. This is a time to be happy. This is a time to be more ambitious, and this time also to be very clear of what you want to do, right? You have those options, right? So, I want to be a crypto, go for it. I want to be a Web3 developer, go for it, right? Uh, you know, uh, I was telling earlier that I when I passed out of MBA, I was like, you can do marketing, you can do sales, mm, or finance maybe, and right now the wide array of opportunities and wide array of those things are available, right? So it's good time to be young. That's the first message. From trends perspective, our research shows that. Young professionals, 87% of them, and freshers, 94%, are leading the great reshuffle today. Right? So it's young people who are driving that reshuffle, saying, okay, I want this, and I want specifically this, and I want this with this conditions. If you're not giving this, I'll go find some other place where I get this, right? So a lot of this energy, a lot of this this reshuffle has been driven by great young professionals. And remember, India by demographic is a much younger country than other places, right? So we have a huge young population. Hundreds and thousands of students come out of colleges, they get into the workforce and they start companies or they work for companies, right? So first thing is it's driven by you guys. One other trend we are seeing is um there's a little bit of doubt in young professionals' mind to doubting their skills, and then like they're less likely to be supported at work as compared to seniors. So I mean, where I'm going with this is there's a little bit of a cloud of doubt in their head that whether I have the right skills. I think doubt is the wrong word. Probably a nervousness, a creative tension. Saying, I do have the right skills.
Skepticism. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And am I being supported by my organization so that I can develop more skills? Which is, I think I like that creative tension in a way, but as long as you don't panic, it's a good creative tension to have. Keep focus on learning, keep acquiring new skills. I think you will get in the place. So that's one other trend we are seeing. And then, of course, the businesses on other sides are adopting a tech first approach, so that because of this young professionals are more adapted to using technology. Their learning curve is much faster, so as tech cycles continuously innovate, they're able to adapt, they are able to get those trends much more clearly. And last thing, which is very very important, I think all of you as startup leaders or startup managers in startups, leadership has got a new dimension which is very very important, and I hope all of you practice it and learn it, which is empathy and patience. Right? It's very very important. It's been always there, but it's come to forefront now, right, due to pandemic, right? You have to empathize with your people, you have to be compassionate, and then you have to be patient, right? This is not the time where you do want to do reckless stuff, right? So those two dimensions are very important part of your leadership arsenal. And so as you lead teams, as you lead your businesses, think about it, make it part of your daily practice when you talk to the team, right? It's very very important that team sees you, your own employees see you as an empathetic leader.
Right, right. Makes sense. Makes sense. I think, yeah, you truly said. rightly said that empathy, remains at the core of, working together nowadays. And like we in our own team see that a lot, like how you can empathize with the situation, because everybody is coming from different ecosystem. They're not especially coming to the office, so like joining from different places, different backgrounds. So I think the thing that can connect is basically like empathy, respect towards each other, and gratitude towards the things. I think personally, I feel totally agreed on that. So, Ashutosh, can you elaborate more on what are the new opportunities and challenges really that young professionals are looking at today? Possibilities like, can you like put them together for people to take away right from here?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'll try. It's a very deep answer because there are so many opportunities, but I'll try and list them few. But first of all, as I earlier said, talent is in the driver's seat, right?
Right.
So, which means talent is incredibly high in demand, and it'll be for the foreseeable future. We take a lot of interest. We do a lot of research on the future of work, and we see that that it's gonna be a talent first market for a very very long time, and which means there. And on the other hand, there's so many new opportunities for young professionals who are ready to venture out, who are ready to take that, I won't say risk, but who had different ideas, and those opportunities are available for you in the market. Now, I'll bring in a little bit of LinkedIn flavor here so that it paints a much bigger picture on what opportunities are available. And we have been our product teams have been hard at work to design tools and design things which will help young professionals explore this opportunity. So I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Okay, now it's gone away. Many such tools we have built in last couple of years, especially during the pandemic. One tool of them, which I all of you should explore, is Career Explorer, that can uncover careers you could transition into and might not have considered by mapping the skills. You have 2,000 of job titles. So, as I said, it's a skill-based economy, right? It's a talent first, skill-based economy. If you have the right skill, sky's the limit. If you have skills but you're not sure where they will fit in, you can use a Career Explorer tool. So Career Explorer tool basically looks at your skills, and then we have a wide array of jobs. It fits your skills into it, right? So that's a Career Explorer tool specifically we have built for young professionals to understand where they will fit in. We have very interesting innovations on the platform, right? So if you have a LinkedIn profile, there's a picture there, right? Which is a very important thing. We have seen that a good picture, by the way, as a reminder for all the young people, a good professional picture, not a picture with beer mug in the hand. That's not very professional, right? A professional picture plays a very important role because there's so many profiles, and a recruiter, let's say, does a search. All of these profiles come up with picture, right? Apart from your skills, a picture plays a very important role as well, right? So in that picture frame, what we have done is for people who are looking for jobs, we have done a photo frame which says open to work. And I'm sure if you go to LinkedIn, you have seen that, right? Which clearly tells me, let's say, if I put the photo frame on my profile saying open to work, recruiter me immediately knows that I'm looking for work, right? So that's a very easy way. In the past, if there was no such photo frame, then recruiters like Ashu works already at LinkedIn. Why would he change a job, right? Now, if I say open to work, he immediately knows like, okay, he works at LinkedIn, but he's looking for something new, right? So that's an interesting innovation for everybody. Then we have tools such as interview prep and skills assessment. Now, what's happening in today's world is everything has gone virtual. Literally 2 years we were in virtual. Now slowly things are opening, so it's going to be a mix. But all of us were always thinking about our interview skills. Now that interview skills have gone to a new dimension because of the virtual. You're going to meet me in a Zoom interview for 30 minutes, right? How do you leave an impression in 30 minutes? What are the things, what are the hygiene factors we need to keep in mind, right? Skills assessment is another tool which helps you understand what skills you have, right? Now, you do the skill assessment, and then you realize, hey, I need to get more digital skills, or I need to learn new skills. And where we have a website which is called opportunity.linkedin.com, where job seekers can find and learn the skills for tomorrow, right? So a lot of workforce now is transforming their skills into digital skills, and that website helps you build a learning path so that you can acquire those learning skills. So these are the things we have done on the platform. We have launched Hindi on the platform so that more and more professionals who speak Hindi, who are comfortable in Hindi, can find the opportunities and jobs, right? So so these are, I said I'll give it a little bit different twist and talk a little bit of things we are doing at LinkedIn. But from a young professional perspective, if you have the right skill, right? If you do the right networking with the right set of people, when I say right set of people, recruiters, the companies, and then you do well in interviews, sky's the limit, right? You have all the required things to get that dream job which you are looking for. Dream job. So that's a little bit about what's happening from an opportunity perspective, Ayush, for young professionals.
Okay, a follow-up question. But before I ask that, people, uh, if you're liking this event, you're liking what has been talked about till now, why not you send a boom in the chat box? So I know how many booms are coming here. Just type in a boom. So we'll wait for your booms, and then I'll ask more questions. Because I'll grill in. Yeah, see some energy now. Wait. See, the virtual energy passes this way only. Like Ashutosh was telling, like we could have had a physical event, and now since we are doing virtual, I think we have to pass energy, a positive energy to each other. So thank you for all the booms coming. Thank you so much. So yeah, now let me ask the next question, which I feel is definitely a dilemma for most people. How important is college education in today's paradigm? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we have a very strong thought process here at LinkedIn. First of all, we should never hire for the past. We should always hire for the future, right? So when you hire for the past, you look at people's work experience, and somebody who has worked at a good company, done a good role, necessarily doesn't mean will fit into what you're looking, or they have the right skills which you need, right? So as I said, this is a skills first economy, right? Skills are more important. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the 4-year degree it continues to play a significant role in signaling the skills and the potential, but true value will come when you have the right skills and you are able to demonstrate those skills. And that's what, in fact, recruiters and into the hiring managers are looking in the interview, right? So it is imperative to have diplomas or certificates or degrees, but employers are looking to go beyond them when they hire. And the reason why they're doing is they're looking to hire the right skills. They're looking to hire diverse from a very diverse talent pools and attract the right candidates. It's happening. It's just not what LinkedIn is saying. It's happening. It's not my thinking. And that data is showing that recruiters are sharpening their focus on skills, with 77% of hiring managers and recruiters in APAC making competencies the focus of job descriptions at least once in a year. If you have seen the job description in the past, it was you are supposed to do X. It was more activities you're going to do in the day, right? It was not so much what competency skills you need to do those activities, and that is done, right? So job descriptions are now having more of like saying you need to have strong business development skill, right?
Right.
So that's where it's changing a little bit, and that's where skills first economy. And I think at LinkedIn we talk about another thing which I'm going to mention. this young crowd. It's gonna be interesting. We want to ensure that everyone has equal access to opportunities, uh, independent of formal education, right? So it's critical in realizing the potential of India's workforce. We have talented people across. Now, all of those talented people might not have the same level of education, or can't go to IITs, IIMs, or have those flagship things on their resumes, right? It doesn't mean I don't have the skills. I'm not talented, right? So we believe that when you have the right skills and the same talent, you should have same access to the opportunity. So Ayush and I, if we have the exactly same skills and talent, then why should Ayush have a different opportunity from me, right? So I think that's where the skill-based economy is gonna level it out a little bit. It's not gonna happen tomorrow morning. It's not gonna happen next year. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but that's where the things are trending, right? So coming back to the Ayush question, yes, 4-year degrees, diplomas, and all of those are helpful. It's important to do them, but they don't guarantee you the job you're looking for, right? You have to have those skills on the top of those degrees, which will make you employable, which will make you attractive to those recruiters. So hence the focus on skills, right? We have seen, I think if I remember the statistic correctly, we have seen on LinkedIn Learning 3x more learning happening
Mhm.
for pandemic. Even in the pandemic, in the first wave, when the India was literally shut down, LinkedIn Learning was like, because people are sitting home, okay, I can't go. My company is not yet doing the development virtually. Let me enhance my skills. Let me learn new skills. There were industries which were impacted, which had no hope, and they were saying, okay, let me retrain myself into a new skill. So I think if one thing you guys should take away from this, if you are listening to anything, is focus on skills, acquire the right skills, display those skills in interviews, demonstrate those skills, and then you will get the dream job which you're looking for.
Right, right. I think I can connect to this by saying that I think more and more people, I think in tier two and tier three cities are now, let's say, getting opportunities. Even I think the startup ecosystem is also shifting, not being centered to just metro cities, but also because at startup grind also we see that action like plenty of really scaled up startups coming from say Jaipur or
Mhm.
Roorkee or say Gwalior. So I think that is definitely a big shift that is happening. So I call it like the democratic way, like things like available for all. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We call it democratization of skills, right? Yeah,
Right.
everybody can acquire skills wherever they in the world they are, right? So I agree with you, Ayush.
Right. Right. So my follow-up question is now for founders of our companies, like how do companies really cope up or can cope up with these changes? Because just like you said, the talent is in the driver's seat, and with the big reshuffle, I think companies are also complaining like that it's really hard to find good people and to retain good people. So how do you suggest like companies could cope up with the challenges of like managing the workforce and recruiting the new workforce and like the latest entrants to the job market?
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk it now from the other side. I've been talking it from the talent perspective, which is in a very exciting space. Companies also, it's exciting, but it's a bit little tough. And that's where the talent brand you build for your company is going to be supremely important, right? And talent brand has so many different dimensions. It's very difficult to kind of verbalize it in a 5-minute answer. Talent brand is for any candidate looking at your company, they look at so many different things. In the past it was easy, like, I won't say easy, sorry, I take it back. There were few things we would look at, saying, okay, do you have a great office? Do you pay well? Is there growth? All of those things are probably people look at, probably not office, but there are many more dimensions which have become very important in talent brand. Number one, I talked about it earlier, flexibility. The people talk, I've gone to interviews where the first question people ask is, I'll talk about the role later. Can you tell me about your company's flexibility of policy? Will I have to come office every day? Can I choose to work where I want to work from? Right? And these are the questions. People in the past would start with like, what is your compensation range? Now it is like, what is your flexibility policy? Right? So it's very, very important that as an organization you are building to have built in into your thinking, and you need to have a flexible work policy, otherwise it's going to be very, very difficult to hire in the market, right? So that's number one. And number two is development of employees, right? Even if you're a startup, even if you have just hired a most talented person, trust me, that person continuously looks for ways to keep developing themselves, right? If they if they feel that they are not developing anymore, they will leave your company, right? So along with the flexibility, the development of the person, the development of employees has become supremely critical. L&D, training, virtual learning. We are seeing community-based learning, right? So engineers learning together, and engineers coming together and practicing coding together, right? So I think these are all ways where people leverage to develop themselves, right? So that's very important. And last bit, which is a topic in itself, probably we'll have to schedule another session, is culture. Supremely important, right? Extremely important, right? The culture you build is very, very important. And in startups, sometimes, I'm not generalizing, sometimes put it in the back burner, saying, hey, more things are important. I need to get more money from VCs. I need to get my GTM right. I need to get my PFM right, product market fit. Will come to culture later when we scale. Not true. Culture has to be thought from day one, right? Because that is the glue which will hold your people, right? And that's exactly what you need, because if people are motivated, people are inspired, they will sell your company. As a founder, you don't need to do anything, right? Again, I'm trivializing, you will have to do a lot, but employees will become really your brand ambassadors, right? So again, as I said, a lot of thoughts here. It's a topic which I love talking about, because I personally have experienced when a company has a great culture, what does it do to you. I've been with LinkedIn at LinkedIn for 9 years, right? And I'm equally inspired today as my first day on July 15, 2013, right? I'm equally excited about the mission vision the company has, the work we are doing, and a lot has changed. A lot has changed. Microsoft has acquired. We have become much larger than what we were in 2013. But one of the constants was the culture, right? And that's where every time I think, okay, it's been 9 years, should I do something else? I start stressing out because I love the culture so much. I feel I can be myself. I don't need to be another person. And that's another part of the culture, right? We talk a lot about at LinkedIn about bringing your true self to work. And that's so important, right? If I have to be a different person once I step out of this room at my home to my kids, then I don't feel okay. I feel like I've not done the right thing. If I'm the same person, then I can easily transition between work and personal life, and it gives me mental calm. So, I mean, as I said, it's a deep topic, it's a broad topic, but these are the things, Ayush, which are very important. And hopefully, all founders are listening and doing some thinking around these dimensions, which I just shared.
Right, right. No, I think rightly said, especially culture. I think you expressed it very well. Culture is the glue that basically holds it all together. So yeah, I love that line. So conclusively, this is my last question, and then we'll take some questions from the people as well. Is we talked mostly about the entry point of a career. What I would like to know, Ashutosh, more about is for a young folk today, what do you advise to basically, like what choices they should make, what things they should do to create a fulfilling, long-lasting, enjoyable career. So, what would be those things that they could just keep in mind, as they start their journey?
Yeah, sometimes I struggle with that question because, I feel like I'm slightly older and the young guys are like, this dude is old. He will talk about all those things. So I'm gonna put those things which doesn't matter how old you are, right? So, I those are things which are evergreen, which has always been around. So first of all, if you want to build a fulfilling career, do something which you're passionate about. I don't know how many times, it's a cliche statement. I don't know how many times people have spoken about it. But literally looking back, 22 years of my career, right? Every time I worked for a company or a job where I was not happy, I was not passionate about what I'm doing, I think I've left it in a year, right? So it's very important as an individual to be in a place, in a role, in a company where you're passionate about doing things, right? If you have difficulty getting out of bed at 6 a.m. to do your work or start your work day, don't be start your work day at 6 a.m. It was just an analogy. But it's going to be difficult. So number one, be passionate about what you do, and if you can't find passion at what you're doing, then you should look for a change, right? It's a very important part of fulfillment. Second is, the whole thing I talked about. In the past, I have struggled with work life balance, right? When I was young and I was working in New York, I would do like 6 to 12 every night. And I think it's okay. I was young, I could take that. But I missed parts of my personal life, which I should not have missed, right? So work life balance is important. Keep a good eye on that. Especially in pandemic, we are like, oh, I need to keep working, I need to keep staring at this laptop screen forever, right? So work life balance is very important. And third thing, which again is an evergreen thing which people say all the time, never stop learning. Never ever stop learning, right? I don't think so I have stopped learning ever in my 22-year careers. And I've been, again, I'm very privileged to work for companies which puts a focus on that. So LinkedIn gives us time to learn. We have a day, like every month, where we learn. There's no meetings there. No meetings can be scheduled that day. The idea is just to focus on learning, right? So I'm right now getting myself. I want to acquire crypto skills. So I'm doing a LinkedIn learning course on crypto, right? So I think coming back to the point, like never stop learning. Learning is a big part of what you do, and if you keep learning, you will keep yourself current. You will have the right skills, and that will lead to fulfillment, right? Like I think in pandemic we all have realized that money is one part of fulfillment. There are other dimensions, right? Which are very very important, right? So hopefully I think the young people listening will agree to what I said. I removed the age as a factor, and these are things which are evergreen. This will always stay, however the world changes around us.
Right. Thank you so much, Ashutosh. I think it's been session full of really good learning. So before we depart, I do have some questions that people have asked. Let me take these together. So Sagar has asked, hi Ashutosh, how do you suggest 30 year plus folks to change career, especially from non-tech to next wave and stuff like that? I think again a very common question that you must be getting asked all the time. So
Yeah.
would you like to elaborate?
Sagar, hopefully I have answered the question if you're listening to me. I mean, again, it would feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's true. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're written 30 plus, it doesn't matter. If you want to go to crypto or if you want to go to Web3, uh, you know, acquiring the right skills. And I'm doing that. I'm with you, right? I'm 40 plus, right? So let's do it together, right? I'm acquiring crypto skills. I'm learning more about everything. I'm learning about Web3 as well. So acquiring the right skills is the most important thing. It doesn't matter. I think, trust me, it will take time. India will get there where what you have done in the past will no longer hold relevant, right? Acquisition of right skills, demonstration of the right skills will be important, right? Otherwise, we as a Indian economy will have tough time growing, right? Because ultimately, how economy grows is it grows through the talent, and if you don't have the right talent, it'll become difficult, right? So if you're non-tech, start acquiring tech skills. If you want to become if you want to do some work in the web3 space, start acquiring those skills. Opportunity.linkedin.com has a lot of thinking there, so go there and check it out. And start learning. That's the simplest answer. I wish you on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So I have a few questions which I think I could combine together because Sanjeev and Ram and Ayushi have pretty much asked about usage of LinkedIn in terms of for different purposes. Probably if you could share some best practices, Ashutosh, like one is how to grow your network, networking for startups, and finding mentors, and then changing your profile to an extent that your profile could stand out. So think probably if you have, if you like to share.
Sure, sure, absolutely happy to. So first of all, Sanjeev, I was reading your question. Uh, you know, quality of your feed, LinkedIn feed. The factors behind it is your own network. LinkedIn is not curating your feed, right? It's your network which is putting all those posts, right? So if you don't like a post, if you see somebody in your network posting stuff which you don't like, I won't say what you have written there, FB like, I don't know what's FB like, but whatever. If you don't like what you are seeing, there are three dots before the post. Click on those three dots. It will give you bunch of options. It will say no more posts from this person, unfollow this person, and disconnect from this person, right? You have to be responsible for your own feed. LinkedIn can't manage 82 million Indian members or 850 global members, right? We give you the option so that you can manage your own feed. So that's the answer for that. How to use LinkedIn for startups? Again, I don't think so. We have enough time. That's literally a 2 hour session, but that's okay. I'll try and condense it into 2 minutes. First of all founders, first important thing, you should have a good profile. And I can give you three, four basic tips right now in 2 minutes of what is a good profile. Picture, I talked about it, professional picture, right? Number one, write your experiences. Don't say I'm a CEO of crypto and that's the end of it. No, not enough. Write your experiences, right? Write what you are doing in the company. Write about why you are passionate about it, how you are building your company, right? All of those things, put it on the profile. When people come, they first check your profile. Anybody, if let's say a startup founder reaches out to me for some help, first thing, what do you think the first thing I do? I look at the profile, right? So your profile is key. Your profile has literally become the identity for your company. And second thing is your company page on LinkedIn. Why is it important? Let me tell you. If you are out in the market hiring for any role, the candidate first thing they do is go to your company page. If you do the Google search on your company name, LinkedIn company page is like second or third result. So literally everybody goes and checks out your company page, your customer, your prospects, the people who you're willing to hire. All of you go to company page, right? So building a good company page is supremely important, right? So again, many more tips how to leverage LinkedIn for startups. But two things: build your profile, build your company page, right? If you do that, at least it's a start, right? The rest you can ping me and I can give you offline because we are short on time. Yeah, so that's a little bit I can speak for hours on that, but I'm just being mindful of the time.
Yeah, so I'll just take the last question, which I think would probably solve other questions, which is how to best reach out to you, Ashutosh, like so that you can really accept that request. I mean, of course, it would be LinkedIn, but or you want people to figure it out. Yeah, how do you go?
No, it's not about how they can connect with me, and it's a good point you raised, Ayush. Sorry, I forgot speaking about it. Connecting on LinkedIn for the people you don't know, I won't say it's an art. It's a very simple thing, right? If you send me a connection request as Ayush, let's take Ayush as an example. Ayush sends me a connection request and no words are written. Nothing is written, right? All I see in my notification bar is that Ayush wants to connect. Like, who the heck is Ayush? I don't even know Ayush. I haven't met Ayush. Why should I connect with Ayush? What he will gain, what I will gain, right? All of these questions go behind and in your head, and I'm sure all of us get tons of connection requests. I get like every morning I wake up to, I don't want to quote a number here, you guys will be shocked, like so many connection requests come to me. You have to stand out in the connection request. So now I'll give you another example. I'm not a great example. You want to connect with the CEO of another company to sell your startup or to sell a deal to that startup. Imagine how many connection requests that CEO is getting. You have to stand out, right? You can't just say connect with me, right? So you have to find a common reference point, right? Either you getting him excited about in two lines about your company, or you find a common point between you. Like somebody writes to me, and I didn't want to say it, but I'll say it because people will use it now. I'm from Lucknow. I'm from Lucknow, right? So people sometimes write in the profile, I'm from Lucknow, Ashu, I want to connect with you. I will definitely consider. At least I'll give it 2 extra minutes to check it out. Who is this person, right? So you have to find something common. Otherwise, that connection request will not stand out, right? So please, please don't just press the connection button and saying, okay, I've tried and LinkedIn doesn't work. It's not LinkedIn's fault, right? Use what you have been given. Write a good statement, write 3, 4 powerful lines, either something personal, something professional, a company's idea, or you can say, hey, I know you have worked in this space and I'm building a company in that space. Can we just meet and exchange ideas? I'm sure you will get like pretty high hit rate with those connection requests. So that's a little bit, Ayush. Hopefully people will never again send a blank connection request. I get so many of them. you know I sometimes sympathize and I'm compassionate with those people, but I can't accept all the requests, right? I can't have a network which is hundreds of thousands, right? I have to keep my network with the people which I know, or which where we can add mutual value.
Right. Right. Right, I think rightly said. So thank you so much, Ashutosh. It's been a pleasure hosting you, and I think we all enjoyed the wisdom today. And I think we all go out from this meeting with better thoughts and something to ponder upon. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Have a good day. Bye
yeah,
bye.
thank you, Ayush. Great questions, and thanks everybody. Have a good weekend and stay healthy. Take care.